tell me it's a walk in the park. Y'all too smart, can't talk from the heart. I got sauce and it's all for the charts. No aux in the car. Riding around bumping that first blueprint on this. I ain't trying to hear what the info is. I been trying to move on the impulsive tip. Do you want dip? I can tell you ain't having that much fun. 3 years in with your ex-boyfriend, y'all tied that knot, but it's back undone. Oh yeah, I'm trying to stack 1 ton. You ain't gotta ask where that come from. I ain't never rock no pack, son. I was on the pack at the mall, same mess. I skip class, no hallway pass. I'm team cap, you was always last. She got good hands and the all state. I got good kids and they all came fast. I ain't gotta say it, you can come to the village. Just ask who's hot, they gon' all say Jack. Told me stay down, but I always have. When I come around, man, they always ask, how does it feel? Oh. Ain't shit, tell me it's a walk in the park. Y'all too smart, can't talk from the heart. I got sauce and it's all for the charts. Started my night with the light. When I got to the club, I was all for the dark. And I'm on a wave like a dolphin and shark. Y'all took shots, they was all for the mark. Keep it raw from the start.
Good evening, everyone.
Prior to talking, false start. 5-yard penalty, remains 4th down.
Good grief, Brian. We can't even get it right here. Good evening, everyone. Welcome into Tigers Tonight. I'm your host, John Maddox, joined as always by one half of the best co-host in all the land, the one and only Brian Moss, who has already committed a penalty. We're not even 30 seconds in. Brian, how are you, sir?
Doing pretty good. Had a little bit of snow up here, so that brought my spirits up a little bit. I can post a video if you want. You want me to send some down there?
No, we're all good. The South is closed for weather. We're ready to let's see, it's it's cold today, but I think the high Thursday is like 69, so we're getting back into good weather. Totally off topic. Did you see the soccer match on FS2 the other night? The Canadian Premier League.
Oh yeah, well I saw the highlights. The snowball. I love snow soccer. I love it.
I don't like snow anything. And speaking of things we don't like, let's get into the ball game on Saturday. Apparently, Memphis played a football game allegedly, and they lost to Tulane by a final score of 38-32. Brian, start us off.
Well, it just, it was pathetic. We talked before. Off air. What loss hurts more, this one or the UAB loss? And we both agree the UAB loss. Which one was more frustrating? Oh man, I could see an argument for UAB, but for me, this one is more frustrating because you already knew you lost to UAB. You couldn't afford any mishap, and the way you start the game defensively in this. So to me, this was a more frustrating loss, and it's heartbreaking. Now Memphis did have a chance to win at the end, but why does Memphis? They didn't start the year this way.
The stupid flag.
Yep.
I don't, Brian. I can't understand it at this point in the year. I went back and I added it up. In the last 5 weeks of the season, they've had 14 false starts. You see that week 1, week 2, especially with a new team, right? You got guys getting used to each other. 78 new guys, as we've heard over and over and over and over again. And they love each other and all that. Well, that's all great, except when you're false starting all over the place. So I don't know. I'm really disappointed with the way Friday turned out. I just thought the beginning, as you said, B, I thought the effort at the front side of the game was very, very poor right out of the gate, giving up the long touchdown pass, and just they dug themselves too big of a hole. And, you look at the second half, they won 15-3, but you go in, you're down 35-17, and it should have been worse than that going into half.
Yeah, I mean, here's what's the frustrating part to me. When I rewatch this game, earlier today, the first 7 drives for Tulane resulted in 408 yards. The last, the last 4 drives when Memphis finally turned it around, they had Tulane had -3 yards, I think.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, that's where it is so frustrating. Where was this defense earlier in the game? I mean, you can put a lot of blame. You can put it on the, you can put, to me, I blame more of the coaching this go around than the players. Because when I looked at the Tulane offense, I went back and watched a lot of their film. They didn't do anything really new that Memphis, didn't see before, or they didn't. I mean, they just played Tulane football.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have prepared better. I don't know. This one really baffles me. I don't understand how you can come out so flat defensively. And I mean, this is it's not the second game in a row, but the second time this year where it's like the first half is just, it's like, whoa, come on now.
Well, I mean, it's been, look back. It's every big game. It's been Arkansas. It was USF.
Oh yeah.
I mean, UAB, I don't really know what happened there. But then this one, like your three marquee games, you come out, you're predictable on offense. You just shell up and cover two, for whatever reason, and you don't get any pressure. And that's where it becomes hard because you want to be supportive and say, oh, well, look, they just did what Tulane does. Like they didn't come
Yeah.
out and there were no halfback passes and
No trick
weird,
plays.
weird formations. They just lined up. They took advantage of Duke Cooper on the outside. They did it 3 times and, did what they do. And it's disappointing. That first drive, big plays happen right at the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
But it's inexcusable to continue to do the same things over and over and over and over again on defense. And then offensively, I've got a real problem with running Brendan Lewis and asking him to do things that he can't do. Let's see, I need to click over here. 6 sacks against
Yeah.
what's supposed to be a mobile quarterback. So the first couple of sacks should have been a clue and said, you know what, Brendan is really limiting us this game. He's a statue. He can't move. And he damn sure should not have been in the Rice game as long as he was. But anyway, so
I think this would have been a perfect opportunity to, I know hindsight's 2020. I'm going back, revisioning, looking about what could you have done differently. To me, this would have been a perfect. Lewis is hurt. When you watch that first half, he's dropping back. He's not, stepping up into the pocket. So he has mobility issues. Just to save him from getting hit a lot, bring in either Maiden or AJ Hill to run the ball like they did. They've done that before, but to save Lewis on his body, I thought this would have been a perfect time to quote unquote, surprise Tulane. But yeah, there's plenty of these drives, when I was watching it, that when Lewis took a sack, I mean, he got hit hard.
Yep.
And it's just like, to me, it was so unnecessary. You have 2 mobile quarterbacks behind him. You could have saved his body, just bring him, even though Tulane would have known, hey, AJ Hill's either going to run it or Maiden's going to run it, because that's what Maiden does. I mean, he runs it, and he's successful at it, even though the other teams. So to me, I was like, it was a missed opportunity to bring the backup quarterback in, just a play here and there, just to save the wear and tear on Lewis's body.
Well, and the other side of this that is just insanity, and this has been a continuing theme, and the answer was, well, we're saving him for punts. Sutton Smith touched the ball 4 damn times. And this is a guy, again, you go back to last year, we are building our offense around Sutton Smith. He is our do everything. Why is he MIA suddenly here in the last half of the season? You get you get 1 or 2 big plays a game from him. Let him continue to play. And I agree with Jeb. Lewis didn't need to play against Rice. And I agree that we probably lost this game in Birmingham. But you just can't do that to Lewis, because now he's banged up. And we're going to talk more in depth about it, but you're going to take on an East Carolina team. I had it pulled up and lost it, who is second in the conference in sacks. So you don't think they're gearing up for Lewis? And, you've been on the Arrington Maiden train for a while now. He was the leading rusher, had 5 carries, 35 yards. His first touch is a 21-yard touchdown run. He's 4 of 6 passing. And, say what we want about Lewis. The guy's a warrior. He went 29 of 34 for 317 yards and 2 scores and a pick. I mean, it's an 85% completion percentage. Spread the ball out to 8 different guys. Braham, of course, had 11 catches for 113 yards. But the whole thing was you took what Lewis also brings to the table away by playing him last week at Rice and getting him hurt, more hurt, I guess is the way, because he's been hurt since probably Arkansas. And now you get him more hurt, and you've taken him away from being effective against what's going to be 2 big challenges for the Memphis offense. And then you masquerade it in the press conference, which is all well and good, by saying, well, you know what? Now they're going to have to prepare for 3 quarterbacks. Well, that's all well and good, but Brendan Lewis came in here to do a job, and you hindered him from doing that job. You were borderline negligent, leaving him in a 38-7 game to take hits. And I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been a perfect opportunity for Maiden to get some playing time, to get more experience, against Rice, and that way, I'm not going to blame this on Maiden. I mean, to me, in my opinion, he made one bad throw, and it was the last one, because he had 2 guys coming across the middle where the defenseman was behind him. So yet, if you just lead the receiver, you have that first down, and you can go on to try to win the game. So to me, one bad pass, I'm not blaming this loss on him at all. So I mean, that's just a teaching moment for him. But you could have had more time for him to have that experience had it been against Rice. And Memphis, I mean, say what we want. Memphis still had the opportunity to win the game. That's to me, that's what's frustrating. Is you continue to put yourself in these situations. You're clawing yourselves out of these situations, which is good. But why put yourself in that situation?
Yeah, and we were joking about it there at the top with the penalty, but that lost the game, because you go from 4th and 3 to where you have maybe an RPO, or you have a short pass swinging out of the backfield, to now 4th and 8. We got to get the ball downfield, and Braham almost makes a great catch. It wasn't a fantastic throw, but it was in the vicinity.
Yeah,
and you just shake your head, and you're like, how does this continue to happen? And it'd be easy for us to sit here and go, you know what, it's let me see if I can pull him up here. It's the same guy every time. It's not. It's a different guy.
Yeah.
I mean, back and forth. But then the thing that makes me want to throw something through the TV screen, that last one, is a wide receiver. Why is a wide receiver jumping false start when you're coming out of a gosh dang timeout?
Yep. And a lot of these, now I forgot to write down the play clock. What time was it? What time was left on the play clock when Kluse did that false start? But the others, like we mentioned off air, I mean, the first drive where it was 4th and 1, play clock was roughly at 18 seconds when they got to the line of scrimmage. False start happened at 13 seconds. I mean, you're on a 4th and 1. Why do you wait 5 seconds before you try to make the snap? Another one, the false start when it was 38-25 Tulane. Lewis on first down kept it for no gain. 2nd and 10, false start. It was down to 3 seconds. Why did you wait? You don't have to wait so long. That's where, I mean, play a little faster. I understand, Mike Norvell played really, really fast. And then we were like, well, you're playing a little bit too fast. But here, I think Memphis is truly playing a little bit too slow. And and these false starts, all of them except that last one, because I forgot to check the time. All the false starts happened when there was just, you're standing on the line for too long. You're asking these kids to do, I don't want to say do the impossible, but I mean, to have a kid sit there for, the pressure situation, to sit there and think about it for 5, 6, 7 seconds, just get up there and snap it and let's go.
Don't jump. Don't jump. Don't jump. Crap.
I jumped.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to. And, Memphis is one of these teams. They sugar huddle the skill players, and they send the line up to set. you've had 14 false starts in the last 4 weeks. Let's or 5 weeks. Let's dial that back a little bit. Let's figure out, okay, this clearly isn't working. Or if you're going to do that, to your point, set the line, sugar huddle, get the play, spread out, hut, go. Like
Yeah.
the whole check with me and this nonstop looking over at the sidelines. I call it the prairie dog offense, looking up, everybody's looking everywhere. Again, and I know I say it ad nauseum, but so much of this is preventable by snapping the gosh dang ball. Just
Yep.
just snap the ball. Like it's in these cases, it's the most preventable penalty possible. If you just go up, snap the ball, fewer bad things happen. It's like putting a kicker in at the end of a game. Don't put it in that situation because the chance of a bad thing happening escalates. Just snap the ball. That's literally all you have to do, and you put up. And to me, if I were playing, I would start to feel like with all this check with me stuff, they don't have faith in me. They don't trust what I'm seeing. Like if I'm seeing, let's say I see cover zero. I've been in this offense for what, 4 months at this point. I see cover zero. I have a guy I played 2 seasons with. I just look at him and he knows he's hot. So there's my hot. You got cover zero. If they all come, get it out to Cortez and let him do something with it. It's just aggravating to sit there and watch this happen over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the post game, it's like, well, got to get that fixed. It's easy to fix. Just snap the gosh dang ball and quit trying to out cute the defense. Yes, they're going to change looks. Be confident in your play calls and be confident in your quarterback and your running back and your receivers that they too can read what's in front of them. It shouldn't rely on, somebody in the booth. Now we got to get the quarterback to look over here. We're going to completely change the formation because they walk the safety. Just snap the gosh dang ball. Like it could not be easier. Trust your players and snap the damn ball. Oh.
Yeah. It is. It's frustrating. And going into this ECU game, that's what I want to see differently. I mean, because we'll talk about the ECU game, here in a minute. But how does the players respond now? Yep. The conference championship is pretty much out the window. It would take an act of, I would say, act of Congress, but they can't get themselves together. So, act of God.
We can't even get the government open these days.
It's going to take an act of God for Memphis to make the conference championship now. So, I mean, do these players? I mean, look inward, play for each other. Will they do that? Or in this? I hate to say this generation, but you see it more now than ever. There's nothing to play for. So, and I haven't seen it yet. I'm just going to I'm going to go to the transfer portal. I'm not going to play the final 2 games.
Or I'm going to get mine.
Yeah. So it's just, hopefully we won't see that.
That's the risk you run with 78 new guys is
yes.
When, and to their credit to this point, when they've gotten punched in the mouth, they've responded very well. And that's in game. They have, especially the defense, when they've been challenged, they've responded. And I think one of the things that was different about this, Brian, is I never felt at any point that Memphis was going to win this game.
I didn't in the first 7-8 drives of Tulane. I didn't think that, but when Memphis started making the comeback, I'm like, okay, they got this. I really did. Even when Lewis was out, I'm like, they got this. It was just certain play calls and certain things. I was just like, man, you could have. There's certain spots, especially where's my notes here? Because when Lewis, before he got hurt, it was 2nd and 20. He was sacked. He was sacked on 1st and 10, where he was just backing up, kept backing up. See, at that point, there was 6:56 left in the game. That's where I said earlier, why don't you just bring Maiden in, save a play, just a play from wear and tear off of Lewis's body, so he doesn't get sacked at that play. But bring Maiden in and just have him run. If he gets 2 to 3 yards, that's still 2 to 3 yards. 2nd and 7 is better than first or 2nd and 20.
Yeah.
So
And, you look at, looking through the big plays, Memphis had 7 pass plays that were 185 yards. Tulane had 8 for 267. And a big play is 15 or more yards. But Tulane only had 4 rushing plays for 68 yards that were more than 10 yards. But the big one is the last one. You get
yeah,
Tulane 3rd and 4, you still have a timeout. I knew what was coming. And Memphis, I watched them line up. They lined up in zone across the board, and Retzlaff just pulled it down and got 10 yards for the first down, and that was it. And that is what is so maddening to me. It is this, I don't want to use the word fear, but it is this unwillingness to make a mistake. And I guess that is kind of fear, but you come in and you say, we've got to try so hard not to screw up. Well, guess, boys and girls, if you're listening out there, guess when you have the biggest opportunity to screw up, when you're trying not to screw up. That's when you're overthinking this and you're analyzing this to death. And why are you lining up with 2 guys 8 yards off the line, 4 guys 8 yards off the line of scrimmage on 3rd and 4? What are you doing?
yeah,
They're not throwing the ball. Like, that was not going to happen. It was either going to be Gordon or it was going to be Retzlaff, and they were going to
yep,
carry the football. And, I was sitting here, and that was the point where I was like, okay, I say there was no point. I was like, all right, if Memphis gets a stop here, if Lewis is healthy enough to walk, he's going to come back in the game. Or Maiden, you're going to get the ball, not great field position because that was out on the 41-yard line. Get a stop here. You'll get the ball back with a minute and 30 seconds left to go try to score and win the game. I thought, all right, if, my two-way math here, if they can get a stop here, that leaves you a minute and a half. And then you don't get the stop and you're like, well, I knew it. And you just, it was so anger inducing. But I will say this, I'm being a little hard on Memphis, but a lot of Memphis's problems were caused by Tulane. They had a great game plan,
yeah,
offensively and defensively. They whipped Memphis up front. I will fight anybody that says difference. Both sides, they whipped Memphis. There were 3 times, I have a note somewhere, Retzlaff had 9 or more seconds to scan the field.
yeah,
1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. He's just standing. And one of those times, Memphis brought 5. So now you're asking 6 guys to cover 5 for 8 seconds. And it was just, but again, Brian, it's the same damn thing every week. Memphis can't get pressure on the quarterback. Memphis starts slow. They shell up in zone, and that's probably why they can't get pressure. And then the few times that you do ask your guys to play man, they get burned. And, Memphis dropped an interception, but a lot of this, again, I want to give a lot of credit to Tulane. They came in angry after what happened last year in this game. And, I was wondering, because the talk of Summerall going to Auburn is really starting to heat up and really picking up traction. And I was like, you know what? Maybe Memphis catches another break with that. Maybe they, kind of catch Tulane not focused or whatever. And that just wasn't the case. And Jake Retzlaff is as good as advertised. That kid can flat
yeah,
out play. He's a good runner. He's an excellent passer. He's so calm, cool, and collect. If he was playing for anybody else, I would have liked watching him. But he's the engine, and he's what Brendan Lewis should be, right? He's the engine that makes that offense go because he's banged up too. Memphis hurt him on that first drive, and
hmm
then he turns around and scampers. What was it? 33 yards around the left side to get that touchdown run. And it's just, 33 yards early second quarter. On 2nd and 9, he goes around left, and it looked like nobody touched him. Like, and that is what's infuriating to me is, just looking at the numbers. Third quarter Memphis. Let's see, third quarter only. They hold Tulane to 71 yards on 2 pass attempts, 23 yards rushing. Fourth quarter Memphis holds them to 22 total yards, 0 of 6 passing, 22 rushing yards, and 10 of those came on the last play.
Yep.
All right. Well, let's bring Mr. Sunshine in here.
Somebody's got to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Flag on you too. Throwing flags all night. All right. Well, can't really blame the weather. So, other than the weather that Brian loves that we're having right now.
Yeah, he can keep it.
Yeah, he can keep it up there. What have we got on tap coming up on Saturday in East Carolina, Greenville, North Carolina, the Forgotten State?
Well, I went back and found my Rand McNally and spiraled through the pages to see if I could figure out where the heck East Carolina was. I thought that was a new state I wasn't familiar with, but it's in Greenville, North Carolina, and I'm sure it's pleasant. I'm sure it's nice. I don't know anything about the countryside, but the weather's going to be great. So, Mr. Sunshine is the title for a reason. It looks like it's going to be a really great day for football over there. 64 degrees at kickoff. Should be really nice, mostly sunny, just light winds. If you're going to never mind, don't worry about tailgating. But if you're going to stick around for the whole game, it will be down to about 50 by the time the game ends. But otherwise, it really looks pretty pleasant over there.
Eric Jeb sends his regards here. Jeb, that's one of my favorite things that Jeb has ever said when we were talking about Greenville one time. He said, that's one of those places you got to mean to go. You don't accidentally go to Greenville.
Yes, not on the way to anywhere.
No. Sorry. Well, tell everybody how they can keep up with you on this quiet weather week after we have a couple cold days. We're 68, 69 by Thursday?
It's, we'll be pushing close to 70 here in just a couple of days, and it's going to stay warm again. So that's good here for the good news for Memphis. It does look like we're going to be dry through the weekend and pleasant. So if you're staying here, it'll be a good time to stick around. So look for all of our updates on social media at Memphis Weather 1 and all of your favorite social media channels. Remind you, we've got a blog as well. We put up some interesting stuff once in a while on there, and that can be found through our website at memphisweather.net.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. We will talk to you. Well, I don't think we'll have a show next week because we're off until the Navy game. So enjoy yourself, and we will talk to you the Tuesday before.
All right. 1-0.
Have a good one.
Thanks.
See ya.
MemphisWeather.net, Eric Procius joining us with weather, the first forecast coming up for Greenville, North Carolina. So, here we go.
Yep.
Sorry. Larry's on assignment tonight. I totally, after Brian committing the penalty to start the game, I didn't even get to tell everybody Larry's on assignment, had an event this evening, can't be with us. So, we will catch up.
Flag on us. It took us 28 minutes to bring
illegal. What is it? Illegal substitution.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway. All right, B, starts off. What do you think?
Oh man, it's what team's going to show up? Are they going to play 4 quarters? It's because ECU. I mean, they have a really good offense. They have a decent. Well, it's more than a decent defense. I think they're ranked 37th in the country in total defense. So I mean, this is a really good ECU team, and they're playing at home. It's one where I think that they can probably catch East Carolina, especially with Memphis losing. East Carolina may have I don't know, puff themselves up a little bit. It just, man, is it going to be? It's going to be interesting. My little tagline, because what I want to see is Memphis just come out and punch them in the mouth. I don't want to see East Carolina come out like Tulane and get 4 or 5 touchdowns in the first 6 drives. I mean, it's just, if that happens, then I can easily see not a blowout loss, because I think Memphis obviously has shown the capability of coming back, but it'll be a loss. And then you're going into the Navy game. Man, we talked off air. If Memphis lose 3 straight to end the regular season, that's not good.
Yeah, natives will be restless. So, East Carolina needs this one because the next week they go into the magical Bermuda Triangle hellhole that is the Alamo Dome, that good teams miraculously can't do anything, can't move the ball, or can't stop anybody when they get there. And then they close with Memphis, UTSA, Florida Atlantic, and they're a team that's like, look, we got to have one team slip up. If we take care of business this week and we get one slip up, we might be in that conference championship.
Yep.
So, a lot on the line for these, the end of this season for the last two teams Memphis has on the schedule. And that's it. It is what it is. And, East Carolina and Navy both have ambitions to get to the championship game. It's going to be difficult. I mean, it's going to be challenging. But frankly, Brian, they're in a better position than Memphis is.
They are, and no, Memphis has only can only blame themselves. I mean, it's just, you're so close. And how many times have we said this the past 2 or 3 years? Memphis is just this close of being that championship caliber team. To me, are they championship caliber? Yes. But you're shooting yourselves in the foot. So I mean, man, it just when you look back at the past few years, it irks you. It really does, because it's the same things over and over again. That's not being fixed for whatever reason.
Let's see. Memphis is 1, 2. They are 1-3 in their last four in East Carolina. We'll go back to 2010. They lost 49-27. They lost 2012. They lost 41-7 in Greenville. 2018, they beat them in Greenville 59-41, and they've lost two straight in maddening fashion, both of them, but the one in Greenville in 2022, 47-45 in overtime, or four overtimes, just still infuriates me.
That was the go for two.
Yep. Just,
Oh,
yeah. And
I hated it.
Zen.
I still hate it.
Yeah. So,
Analytics.
yep. All time Memphis is 8-16 against East Carolina, and they're just 3-9 away from home, just 6-12 in conference play, and 2-8 in the last 10 matchups. So this is just not a spot Memphis wanted to be in. But this was one of those things where if you beat UAB, if you do what you got to do, and you probably take care of Tulane at that point, because I think I said from the beginning, my worries
Yeah.
were either Troy or FAU, one of those two, because they were around the Arkansas game, and this one,
And this one, yep.
because Memphis just does not play well against East Carolina. It's never been a good matchup. That 2017 East Carolina team was so bad. They were terrible. Memphis wins that game 70-13. But this is just this, and it doesn't matter who the players are. This matchup has just never favored Memphis. And Memphis averages 26 points a game against them. But it's just, this was the one I was like, you can't. That's why I think I said you can lose one of South Florida, Tulane, ECU. You can lose one of those and this was the one that we said was the likely loss because, again,
Yeah.
just let's be real, they've shit the bed the last few times they've played them over there. But you can't lose that UAB game because, now that you lose that UAB game, you put everything else out there. And now you've taken, I said after the game, we've taken all margin for error away. So now you can't afford to lose to Rice. You can't afford to lose to Tulane. You can't afford to lose ECU, and you can't afford Navy. And now that you've lost Tulane, to your point, Brian, what shows up? What happens? Are the kids going to, as Jim Ross would say, circle the wagons? And are they going to come out fired up, motivated, ready to play for the name on the front of the jersey and not the one on the back? Or are they going to sulk, pout? To your point, I'm just going to enter the transfer portal, or we'll talk about this in a second. Or let's say they know, the powers that be know that Coach Stillfield's getting a different job. Do they just say, well, this is my chance to audition for the transfer portal, or I know I'm going in the portal, so this is my chance to get mine and audition, versus being all in with the team? So that's what I think it comes down to. So before we get to predictions, Bold, or before we get to scores, bold prediction.
Bold prediction. I used this one before, and I should have used it last week because it actually happened last week, and I think it may happen again this week. The quarterback that starts for Memphis, Lewis, will not finish the game. I think he gets hurt again, and either Hill or Maiden comes in to finish the game. That's my bold prediction.
The 20-point stretch snaps this week. That's my bold prediction. 50 games. I think it snaps. I think this is the week it snaps because I just don't know where our psyche is.
Yeah.
I hope I'm wrong, but I have the feeling that this group is going to be as dejected as the fans are. And I'm going to talk about negativity here in a minute, but they feed off, they look at what happened to Florida State after he gets snubbed in the playoff. Everybody sits out. I don't think you're going to have that this week.
Yeah.
But I think you're going to have guys that just, why bother? We came here to do a job and we can't get the job done now. Or do they go out, Brian, and they play whistle to whistle and bell to bell and, fight as hard as they can? I don't know. I don't like the spot. I don't like where this is falling on the schedule. Obviously, I don't like the hangover from a couple weeks ago, but I don't know. All right. Let's see. 3 p.m. East Carolina's history. 6:37 p.m. You will look up at is it Dowdy Ficken? Is that right? Is that the name of their stadium? Dowdy Ficken?
Let's take a look here. Yep, Dowdy
How
Ficken.
about that? You will look up at that scoreboard and it will say.
I do think Memphis will come out strong. And I'm hoping that they take care of business. So I'm going to try to stay positive, Paul, today. But I do think Memphis scores at least 20. So I think that'll extend another week. I'm going to say Memphis wins on the last second field goal, 31-28.
35-17, East Carolina. They smell blood in the water. You know what I mean? Like they smell the blood in the water too. And if Memphis comes out slow, there's not going to be. I don't know how much fight they have left. Does that make sense? I'm not saying they're going, because they're not going to quit this. Look, people.
The one area where I think Memphis can exploit is the ECU passing defense. Everything about the ECU defense is good except for that. They're 69th in the country, and I think that's where Memphis can, if they do it early. I feel you do it early, jump on them early. I think they can carry that momentum. That's why I predict.
Yeah, I think the problem is going to be that if not that they're, I never accuse people of quitting. That to me is the worst thing you can do. But if they get punched in the mouth, how much fight do they have left? Like, how many times do they do this? You did it against Tulane. You did it against South Florida. You did it against UAB. You did it against Arkansas. You over and over, you're having to do this. You're having to dig yourself out. And at some point, you just get tired of digging yourself out of holes. And that's my worry. That's 35-17. All right. So said short show tonight, but I want to talk about a couple things that I am seeing and hearing. And everybody's frustrated. Nobody's happy with where things are. And if you are, then you're part of the problem too. The bar at one time, right, B, was bowl games. That was the bar, because we hadn't been, and it was just getting there was like the bar, right? Like, but then now that bar, the standard has been raised, and Memphis isn't hitting the standard. And you've now got what you always have. You've got two camps. Keep going what we're doing, be grateful, be thankful for what we have, fire the coach. And in the truth in the middle somewhere, Brian?
Yeah, I really do think that, because on one hand, not the positive Paul thing. Look what Silva has done with the recruiting, blah blah blah. I think you can keep Silverfield, but still make some changes. I know he's loyal to his guys, but there's, you know, to me, something has to, fresh ideas, just something, just an influx of fresh ideas, because it's just not working, because you're there, you're on the cusp with what you have right now. You're on the cusp, but you haven't, taken that next. You haven't stepped into the championship game. You can get close to it. You're right there, but you don't have enough to put that foot over. So to me, I'm not in the fire Silverfield camp whatsoever. I just think there's got to be some type of changes other than Silverfield.
I agree. And this is nothing personal against Coach Cramsey, Coach Hankins, but I think this is a situation. And if Ryan leaves, here's going to be a big part of it. Sometimes it's time to go. Sometimes you've worn out your welcome or whatever. And I don't know that Ryan's there with a large part of the fan base. There's always the vocal minority that have the pitchforks. We call them the all you got to do crowd. All you got to do is fire the coach. All you got to do is start. All you got to do, all you got to. And there's so many moving parts, but maybe a change of scenery does everyone good. And again, this is not a knock on Coach Cramsey, Coach Hankins. When you are as predictable as Memphis has been, you have to make a change. And what I would implore Coach Silverfield with is, if Mike Norvell's your mentor, Adam Fuller almost got Mike Norvell fired. Let me say that again. Adam Fuller almost got Mike Norvell fired because he couldn't let him go. He wouldn't let go of his guys. And that becomes so toxic when you are holding on to guys and you're loyal. And I get it. But you know what? There's other defensive coordinators, there's other offensive coordinators, other dudes that you can, kind of bring around. And is this a situation where, do you need an old head coach on the team again? You had Pete Limbo. Do you need another version of that around to kind
Daryl
of
Dickey.
do you need somebody to rein you in a little bit? Um, Everybody knows the playbooks. You're 3 years, 4 years in, but I would just and I firmly believe this. Everybody says, well, we're not reaching the championship games. That's fine. I agree. Nobody, and here's the thing, nobody's content with this. Nobody's happy about this situation. None of us that follow cover, we don't like having to ask Ryan how they blew it again. None of us do. It's not pleasurable. Life is easier when football is winning. But I firmly believe there is a camp that he could go to the championship game and lose, and they'd be ready to fire him. He
Oh
could
yeah.
win the championship game and not win it by enough. He could win the championship game and get blown out in the first round of the play. Because here's the thing, and this is why I don't argue. This is why I don't respond. Nothing. Folks have never their mind is, and this is a societal thing today. Their mind's made up. Nothing you can say, no numbers you can show is going to change their mind. Flip side, just because Memphis sucked in the early 2000s doesn't mean the standard isn't higher now. Let me say that again. Just because Memphis sucked at
Mhm.
one time doesn't mean the standard can't be higher now, because if we're being real, Memphis has never had more resources and more attention placed on football in our history ever. That has never happened at Memphis to the level we're at now. But see, here's the thing, all of these things can be true. They can all be true at the same time. Am I saying be satisfied and, somebody else posted earlier, beat ECU and Navy and be told to be grateful to go to the Gasparilla Bowl? No, nobody with sense is saying that. And if you're looking at this going, well, Memphis sucked in 2008, so we should just be grateful. Yeah, well, Memphis almost did away with their program at one point. So that's not a fair comparison. You've got resources now. You've got attention on football now. You've got, pardon the pun, all in on football. So what are we doing? Does that mean that you fire the coach? Probably not this year. You lose these last 3 games. Does it get more difficult to? Well, I just don't know. I'm with you, B. I don't think firing Coach Silverfield is the answer. I don't think. I mean, I guess you do have to fire them. I think you encourage some of the staff to go find a better opportunity. We'll put it that way. It's kind of like we don't cut players from a college team, but we encourage them to look elsewhere to play. Um, well, Dr. Scott has gone quiet the past month, but I think there's a lot of other stuff going on right now behind the scenes in the athletic department. He's still at every press con. Well, I can't speak for the last couple, but he's been at every press conference. He, and that's the thing. You've got an enthusiastic AD who loves football and who is at every press conference. I've seen him at practice. You obviously see him at the games. He's into it. He gets football. And that's what makes this frustrating. But if Memphis were 8-4, 7-5 every year, I don't know how people would feel. But I think you might have a good point. We're there. We're at the cusp. We are on the precipice of greatness. And we just, for whatever reason, we can't seem to catch that glory again.
Yep. And I know to me, it sounds like I say a lot, but from the outside looking in, it seems like an easy fix because some of these just play just a little faster. I'm not saying all of a sudden get 20 more snaps per game. But when you take a look at the UAB game, this game, just some of these false starts, like I mentioned before, play a little bit quicker. Don't wait till there's 3 seconds left before you make the snap. Don't sit on the line for 7 seconds, letting guys just, look around and start, thinking about stuff. Just get in there as soon as you get on the line, a second or two, and then hike and let's go. Some of these little things, to me, they seem little, but again, I'm not a college football coach. I only play one on the PlayStation, So, but to me, play a little faster, and some of the play calling, just mix it up a little bit. I would be interested to someone on the staff, like as Severfield would say, you know what, there's position battles. Well, how about coaching battles? Have a young up and comer, maybe an offensive analyst or offensive assistant, and during practice, play calls against Cramsey. Same thing on defense. Have an up and comer that's on your staff. Play calls against Hankins. Iron sharpens iron. I don't know if they do that, but to me that would I would like to see some fresh ideas. Some definitely some different play calling. Like I said, I mean, it would have been easy just to bring Maiden in just a couple of plays just to save on the wear and tear. I mean, surely I'm not the only one that was watching that game. Like, man, let's save Lewis just a couple of plays. And who knows? It could have made a difference.
And you talk about play calling. Is it illegal for us to throw a halfback screen to Sutton or Greg? Like, is that against the rule?
I miss those days.
And it's not, I don't want to turn into Tyson Helton here.
Yeah.
Clay Helton, where it's every damn play. But then, all right, there's your example. We saw 2 tunnel screens back to back. One play and then another. The first one worked and the second one didn't. Spread that out. Just spread it out a little bit. But we can't run just a regular screen, to let the defense come in and you throw it to Greg or Sutton, God forbid, and let them see what they can do with the ball in open space. You've got all these undersized, fast linemen. I know you're the big screen guy, but it's maddening to think we've got it, and gosh forbid we play Sutton and Greg at the same time.
They have the tools. I mean, Memphis has the players. They have everything. Like you said, they have everything they need to be a highly successful team. Just take that one step, and that's for whatever reason, Memphis cannot take that step for the past 2-3 years.
Who knows? All right. Well, that's going to wrap it up for this week for our Larry Marley, who's on assignment, and for The best co-host in all the land, Brian Moss. This is John Maddox signing off, and we will be off next week since Memphis is off, and we will be back the Tuesday before the Navy game. So we will see everybody then.